Hey there, good evening. This is Calvin Baker with Mini Pots, once again doing a week in review. And what I have going on right now is this. As if you watched it before, you know I go over some of the things I've managed to accomplish, some of the things I hope to accomplish, and possibly some reading that I've done, things I've watched, other events going on. So, what's been going on recently is my wife has been in the hospital, and we are having to give that a lot of time, much more so than we anticipated. I still get a little bit of hobby time. She came home, has been bouncing back and forth because of things going on there, and our routine has been changed a lot at the household. But hobby wise, I had a sick kid home yesterday and today, so I did manage to work a little bit on hobbies. This is the AFNAC for Forbidden Psalm that I've been working on. What I'll be doing now is, you can see around here, there's some flat areas. So I'll be building up the neck so they seems to fill a little bit more smoothly. And then I'll be adding some cowl type parts here to give the appearance of possibly feathers or quills around its head. And then I will do the same on the tail, where I'll broaden this out, and I will do some of the patterning on through. Instead of going to a point like a alligator tail, I'm going to divide it so it'll have one little ridge going along the outside of each. And I can see that this is probably a little bit short, but I think it looks okay. It is fairly balanced. It'll be magnetized. I'll be putting a magnet down here and maybe a couple and small ones in the feet, so it has a little bit more gripping when I play on my battle board. Um, the tail, not sure what I'll do with it, but at some point I know I will do something with it. This is a Reaper miniature. I showed them several months ago, and I explained what I had hoped to do then. I finally I was watching some modeling videos, got the courage. I've had it in a state of disrepair for some time, but we're here, and everything seems to be setting up. So there's a single wire. If you've seen in the previous pictures or videos, there's a single wire aperture that I did. Um, should have probably made this back a little bit longer, but it does not bother me enough to change it. But that is one thing I've gotten done. I completed all my Tempestus Aquilons. I had this guy on the table, that one, and I think there is, a gunner who I am not sure if I'll magnetize or if I will simply glue one set gun there in his hands, with the idea that I have to state, okay, it's not a Melta, it's a plasma. Um, not sure if that's going to how that's going to pan out, but I can't wait to get the 28 millimeter bases on order and in hand so I can get those guys based. I don't know when I'll get them painted, but at least if they're based, I'll be further along in that. Um, Other projects that I've worked on, something. Okay, I mentioned my wife was in surgery, and so what she had done was a cochlear implant, and this is a device cover. She's already tested it, so she knows it works for her device, and she got it with hearts and um, stars on the side. So what I'm going to be doing here is, it is the 3D print of using filament, so it has a very fine ridge. Well, because it's thicker here at the heart space, you can you can, like, you can sort of feel the little ridges. You can see the little ridges more intently there. And so what I did is I took the Vallejo plastic putty and used that to cover it. So this has been sitting like this for 3 or 4 days, and I will then go through and this is a glass vial by, oh, I reviewed it. I forget who did it. And you could do the same with a fine sandpaper, but I'm just getting it all nice and level. I'll do a brush on primer, and she wanted gold, silver, and then like a gunmetal gray silver. Not sure why, but that's okay. But you can already see, well, maybe I didn't have that in, but this is the glass file. And I'm sorry if I cut out of the, I'm a little bit bothered right now. I just spent 30 to 45 minutes recording a video earlier today, and I was getting ready to edit it. And it's a flip through. I'll be reviewing Brethren, the historical skirmish game off of the writer's website, War Games Vault, as well as Amazon. It might even be DriveThruRPG. And I'll be doing a flip through of that as well as a discussion, a little bit more in depth. I can do it on this one. And so I'd recorded the video, quite happy with it, I thought, and in playback of the audio, a good percentage of the audio was gone. So you can imagine how I felt. And I know I'm not the only person who's done things that have mysteriously vanished or didn't work out the way they were supposed to because you didn't make sure the mic was charged or something. And okay, I'm sorry to do that, and if that is bothering you, so let me know what I need to do to make it work. I might need to get a different setup for showing work on my bench or my desk. So you can't quite, yeah, you can see where it's smoothing out, but this is still textured and it has a small dip there. I'm not sure why that's the case, but in some 3D prints that I've ordered, it'll have a good looking flat surface, but in the center it'll be a dip. So on the star ones that she has, the dip runs down the middle of the arms of the star. So it's a little bit more complicated, but that's what I'll be doing. And eventually I'll end up with something that looks very close to this. Not perfect, but I'm okay. And I'm glad I let that sit. I sanded these the next day, and it seemed to pull a lot of the putty out. These have been sitting here for almost a week. Not quite a week, for several days. And having said that, it's not pulling it out, which I'm happy about. And that is, you've seen people file before, so I'm not going to do this much longer. But you can see how it'll eventually, yeah, it's getting smooth. It'll be a nice flat surface. So when I prime and everything, Now, on the stars, because it has the longer tapered arms or body of the piece, it's harder to do this. You sometimes will get caught in the arms of the, so you'll end up with strange divots on the or channels that you're filing. I'm not applying a lot of pressure here. Problem with doing it where you don't see it is that you sometimes can just write it in one spot. You don't get the whole thing. And again, I know this is super exciting for people, so sorry about that. I think you can see. And yes, that is grading on my something. I might go back over this and do another layer of the silicone putty and let that set up on both of them. So, and I'll let this dry once I've applied it. I'm squeezing gently. I'm just trying to build up the level there in the middle. Now, if I lift it up at the wrong time, I would end up with a giant splooge there in the middle. And this is primarily to see if it's going to have any negative effects. This is not filed perfectly, but I was happy with it. In hindsight, I'm sort of seeing that I probably should have done this earlier. So I'll be doing that on all the ones that are I've already done, and then refile it. And that's Vallejo's plastic putty. It will dry 24 hours, but I'm going to let these set longer. And because I was finding that it was pulling out the plastic, or it felt like it was pulling out the putty from the grooves from the filament printing. So what I have coming up is I have, as I was telling you, so I spent a good hour recording a video for this Brethren Skirmish Tabletop Wargame, and just to flip through in a brief discussion of the rules and what's unique about this rule book. At the 12-minute, this 25-minute video, at the 12-minute time, literally the time dies. Quite frustrating. I'd mentioned this. This is by Patrick Todorov. And going to be doing that, as well as I did get in Exploit Zero. This is the first version of the Cyberpunk tabletop war game, and it's not really a whole lot different than the one I reviewed already, Exploit Zero Omnibus, but it's only 43 pages. It has some basic ideas, but it doesn't push it. It doesn't have the full campaign idea. Then I have talked about Devilry Afoot. And if you want me to do a flip through of, well, I'm going to be doing Brethren for sure. Any of these next, leave a message in the comments if you would. And let me know. So that's Devilry Afoot. Exploit Zero and Night Watch Blood and Bone. I have some other books I will be doing flip throughs of, but those are the four that I have handy right now and what has piqued my curiosity. Listening to, I have not managed to listen to any new podcasts. I have been listening to The Winners by Frederick Bachman, I think is the last name, um, and really enjoying that. I think I've discussed that in a previous video. Watching, I have not watched anything unique or of substance on anything, any channel, Disney, YouTube, you name it. HBO Max, not seen anything that I really, really was like, this is cool. So that's it. So this week has been a lot of making plans and spinning wheels, waiting for my wife to get better and try to get her in a better spot. And about the only thing that I did of consequence, I think. Well, I did finish the Aquilons, but they're not even based, so that's hard to. Is work on this guy, and I am actually quite pleased with him. Um, and that's everything that comes to mind. I hope everyone is doing well and is set to have a great hobby week and happy gaming. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you have a comment down there in the bottom, that would help me out. And if you have any questions as well, please let me know. Thank you. Have a great ongoing week and take care.